The Disney company needs a win. They need a box office stellar performance. They're not going to get it out of the Marvels. That movie is now on track to bomb even worse than what we have seen before. But Wish, the little animated feature film that harkens back to the days of Tangled and Moana, with an adorable princess, a cute little star, a talking animal, and a singing villain, surely it will make money. Well, it'll make money, but it might lose more. We're taking a look today at the projections, and we are breaking this down with high fidelity so that you will know when the access media is fibbing, as they often do. We'll tell you why this is another dismal day for Disney and may reveal long-term brand damage that we have been predicting for quite a while. Hello folks, welcome back to the WDW Pro channel. We are happy to have you as always. What a pleasure to join you for your day. Today we are talking about the upcoming film for Disney, Wish. It looks like a fun little animated feature. It has a princess, it has a cute little star, a talking animal, and a bad guy who sings. Everything should be in the right place to make money, and that's what Bob Iger and the rest of the Disney board want. However, there may be serious damage which has occurred over the last few years that is making it difficult for movies like Wish to break even. We're going to talk about it right now, starting with this article out of The Wrap. Now, this is behind a paywall. We will put the link for you there, but we do not read information directly from behind paywalls. But I will tell you the pertinent point from this article by Jeremy Fuster, The Flash and Elemental Flops in red alerts for two of Hollywood's biggest box office brands. This came out in June, and it's really the best place we have for determining what is the overall production cost for Wish. And that production cost, according to The Wrap behind their paywall, is $200 million. Now, that matters because we know that production costs are quite high for Disney animated films and Pixar animated films versus other animation film studios. Many of those other CGI cartoon films are made for about $100 million, maybe $125 million in terms of production. But it's not just the production that has cost. No, it is also the marketing. And we're going to read now from an official Walt Disney Company press release. I want you to know that they are doing everything they can to make Wish succeed, which is what you would want a corporation to do. This is a press release about Disney's Make-A-Wish Together. And I have to say that this one coming out on October 4th, I'm very happy and pleased about this. There are times when Disney gets things right, and in terms of this marketing campaign, this is a positive one. We take no umbrage with it, but it's part of a much larger advertising and marketing spend. And I'm here to tell you, folks, we have sources who have told us that Disney is spending like crazy to make sure that Wish takes off. We're talking about lots of partnership programs here. We're talking about lots of merchandising pushes. And that's even with leery retailers out there not sure about how this is going to perform, especially after the performances of some of their latest movies. We're looking at you, Lightyear. We're looking at you, Strange World. But take a look at this one. Disney launches Wish Together campaign to celebrate Wish and long-standing relationship with Make-A-Wish. Over the last 100 years, the Walt Disney Company has made wishes come true, both in its storytelling and for millions of people around the world. On Wednesday, the company debuted a new campaign that highlights that important tradition. Disney is launching the Wish Together campaign that celebrates its decades-long relationship with Make-A-Wish, as well as the release of Disney's highly anticipated animated feature, Wish. The film, which is set in a magical kingdom where wishes come true, hits theaters on November 22nd. Now, this is just part of a huge marketing spend that is going to happen, and I think it's important to know just how big this marketing spend is going to be, so that you know, one, how desperate Disney is for this to succeed. And, well, again, we send them kudos for doing this Make-A-Wish partnership. But they're going to spend a lot of money, not just on this. It's a very small percentage of it, but a huge amount of money being spent on the marketing here. And what we're hearing is that the marketing for this could actually be even with the production amount or exceed it. So you're looking at a very large amount of money being spent to get people to go see the movie. Now, why? Well, probably because Disney cannot afford another failure with its animated feature films. That would indicate to investors and to the rest of the world that Disney is no longer a place that families instantly go to. So let's now go to the box office forecast for Wish, and let's see how they are projected to do. This is by Sean Robbins over there on Box Office Pro. They use pre-ticket sales, all right? So people who are purchasing those tickets, people who are buying in before the movie comes out, they want to reserve their seat at the theater. They use that, and they correlate that with other films of similar types to determine what the likely box office results are going to be. And here's what they have to say. This year's Thanksgiving weekend could provide a welcome feast for exhibition following a string of modest to underperforming openers during that holiday corridor in recent years. That's a zing against Disney, by the way. Disney has been the chief architect of those ho-hum, modest to underperforming openers. In addition to the release of new films from Disney's animation house and director Ridley Scott, the holdover market will boast titles such as The Marvels. We've already seen, by the way, that The Marvels is really sinking badly now. I mean, we're in uncharted territory in terms of how badly The Marvels is performing. Of course, it's not out yet, but it will be. The Hunger Games, about of songbirds and snakes, trolls band together, Thanksgiving, Next Goal Wins, Journey to Bethlehem. Of all those, I would also say that The Hunger Games is another massive underperformer, and Rachel Zegler, who's leading that one, and will be leading the Snow White monstrosity that will come out in 2025 now. She is now looking to be a young actress who has presided over movies that have lost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars combined. It's impressive that Hollywood has not yet said, we've had enough of you, but so far not. But here's what we have for Wish. From the Walt Disney Studios, coming out November 22nd, the 3-day opening weekend track range for domestic $45 to $65 million. That's the opening weekend. And on the full domestic total tracking range, we've got $185 million, $289 million. Now, that's not good. We'll take a look now at how this is spun a little bit by this website, and we'll see what we think about it. But again, not good. Here are the pros that it says. Throughout Disney's most recent golden age of animation, the studio has notched quite a few breakout animated releases during the Thanksgiving corridor, including the likes of the Frozen films, Moana, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Tangled, and Pixar's Coco. Okay, well, that's not actually a pro for this film. That's a breakdown of the history of Disney prior to them going partisan. But hey, all right. Early social buzz for Wish is healthy, as trailers, promotional material, and song previews have successfully pitched the film as not just a return to the classic female-led fairy tale template made to appeal to Disney's mother-daughter audience, but also an Easter egg-filled homage to the studio's history of animated classics released to coincide with the brand's 100th anniversary. And yes, this thing is, remember folks, we told you the huge marketing spin here, yes, it is tied to 100th anniversary branding. So they spent some money on this, no doubt. Early pre-sales for Wish are well above the pace of 2021's Encanto, which many people forget was a box office flop, but a streaming darling, and 2022's Strange World, which was both a flop on box office and on streaming. The former having released as a pandemic. Concerns remained front of mind for parents, and the latter turned into a major misfire that didn't appeal to much of Disney's core audience. Now, that is a get-out-of-jail-free card for Encanto, because Spider-Man No Way Home, about the same time frame, and it did extremely well. So we're not going to grant that one. With no fresh competition on the slate until mid to late December, and that is Wonka and Migration, which, again, I don't know that those are competition. Disney's latest original animated film will have plenty of runway to leg out if word of mouth is strong and its musical tracks inspire the kind of repeat viewing that aided the Frozen franchise, Moana, and Tangled. This is, however, also a downside, folks, because if this film fails, it fails all by its lonesome. It does it all of its own accord. It will simply do it because families choose not to go to the theaters, and then they'll have to create a new narrative and tell us how that families this year didn't want to go to the theaters. It's a new shift in the way that society reacts to cartoons. It's a Disney Plus's fault. People don't want to go watch it because they'll wait for Disney Plus for it to come out. They'll come up with whatever it takes. Now, what I do want to say here is that pre-sales for Wish are above Encanto and Strange World, and that's great. It's still only tracking, though, for under $300 million for its total domestic run. We'll come back to it in a minute. I want to take a look at the cons, and then we'll analyze the numbers and see how this is going to do and what Disney needs, because we're here to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve, and give you the actual base facts so that when you read all of that access media stuff, you'll know what's really going on. On the cons, Disney's primary audience for films such as Wish has been a challenging one for the studio to bring back to theaters as they readjust following a pandemic-era strategy that prioritized Disney Plus for its animated titles. Yep, Folks, that's called framing. Preemptive framing. Framing for the failure. We're going to go ahead and set it up. It's funny how the movies that succeed, they're never the victims of streaming. But every Disney movie that fails is the victim of streaming. Funny how that works. November is filled with a number of high-profile, female-leaning films. The Marvels, Hunger Games, and Trolls, which could cut into Wish's upfront and or long-term audience if any or all inspired strong reception themselves. I'm actually going to grant that one. I think November is definitely a majorly female-centric month for movies. And that may drain the wallets or the purses, if you will, especially Hunger Games and Trolls. I don't think that Marvel's right now is shaping up to be fantastic for anybody. And then finally, it says the absence of stars Ariana DeBose, Chris Pine, and cast from the promotional circuit due to the ongoing SAG-AFTRA strike may be worth factoring into expectations. Bullhunkus, I say, bullhunkus. When have you ever, folks, decided based on what some actress or star has said on the red carpet or what they have said to some reporter, oh man, I wasn't going to go watch that Pixar film, but now I am. It has zero impact whatsoever on CGI family films. But let's take a look now at the numbers and figure this out. So here's what we've got. The domestic total tracking range, of course, is not the worldwide total tracking range. But at the high end, let's say it's at 300 million. We're going to grant them 10 million more than what is currently being projected. So let's say that at the top end, they're at 300 million. And then let's say that it is at least a 1-to-1 split in terms of domestic and worldwide. That would get them to $600 million as what would be probably the best case scenario for their worldwide global box office haul, domestic plus all the internationals. 600 million. Now let's add up how much they're spending on the movie and let's find out what's going on here. So we know, based on what the Wrap said, that $200 million is what is being spent on the production officially, although we also know that Disney usually runs over. That's what we've been witnessing lately. And we've been witnessing that using tax return information from the UK. Now, this one's not being done anywhere in the UK. It's being done in-house through CGI Studios, but we'll say that they spent $200 million. For the simplicity of math here, folks, for the simplicity of math, although I know you all know how to use integers just fine. Now, how much are they spending on marketing? Well, we've heard that it's at least a 1-to-1 ratio, although we cannot corroborate that independently yet. But we've heard that it's at least a 1-to-1 spend on production and marketing, and that lines up pretty well. This is the film that's supposed to celebrate Disney's 100th. So then you say, all right, production is 200 million, marketing is probably 200 million, at least. That gets us to 400 million. Well, let's apply our normal easy math solution to this and say that after the ticket sales at the theaters, the theaters take their cut, taxes take their cut, and essentially Disney will get back 50%. Now, how do we come to that number? Well, if you've been watching the channel for long, you know how that number is manifested. The way we do it, of course, is that in the United States, those ticket sales bring back a little bit more than 50%. Somewhere between 55 and 60%, depending on the box office and all of that. And internationally, it's less than that. It can be somewhere around 42, 43%. The exception, of course, is if a movie releases in China, the returns are quite awful. The percentage that the studios get back, the distributors, is about 20%. But when we factor all of that in, and we ignore the Chinese issue for a moment, what we come to is about a 50-50 split. Now, a 50-50 split means that this film needs to make about $800 million in order to break even. Remember, because it has a $400 million spend, marketing plus production. It needs $800 million to break even. But even if we are very, very, very kind, and we say that Disney all of a sudden became extraordinarily frugal, $750 million is probably the break even for this film. Now, looking here at Box Office Pro, we've got, well, $300 million times 2, because we're looking at that worldwide global split. And what does this mean? Well, it means, according to Box Office Pro, there's going to have to be heavy lifting internationally to lift this thing above. Can it happen? Well, it could. Absolutely. This is not locked in, and I'm not here to give you my official prediction on this. I'm taking a look at the predictions that Box Office Pro has, and they have spent years and years doing this. And generally, they're pretty good. So I'm just looking at the Box Office Pro numbers. I'm comparing it to the spend that has happened, and I'm saying, well, this film needs like $450 million international to get the domestic side up. In the best case scenario, remember, what could happen though? Well, if we're not in rainbows and peaches, everything is great world, and we're not making $300 million domestic, and we're not seeing, a 60-40 split internationally, what if it's towards the lower end? Well, if it's towards the lower end, let's say it's at the $200 million mark domestic. Well, in that case, you can see this gets into that territory where it could be another $100 million loser. And that would be terrible for a Disney company that is doing everything they can to get families back into theaters to go watch their stuff. And it would likely represent that there has been long-lasting damage done to the brand and that families no longer trust Disney. That is what you won't see in the con. That is what you won't see in the explanation from many of these websites yet. Maybe South Park has changed that. But many of these websites do not want to come out and say that that is actually what is occurring. They want to blame it on Disney Plus. They want to change it on societal shifts at the theaters, anything they can to get it off of Disney. But I think that after this one, if it does poorly, Disney will have some major answers that they have to give because the Marvels is going to bomb. And this does not need to bomb lest Disney really, really hit the floor. Bob Iger would not be having a good day with that one. But in all likelihood, to summarize this, based on what Box Office Pro is saying, this film with a cute little princess and a talking animal and a merchandisable star, literally it's a star that's merchandisable, this film is on track to lose money. Now, you all out there can argue, if you'd like, that perhaps when it hits streaming, despite the fact it makes no money there, perhaps that it somehow is still worthwhile to lose money in order to keep people watching this on Disney Plus. I don't know if that's true, but at least at the box office, Wish is currently on track, although not inevitably, but on track to flop. And that is not good for Disney. They have a lot to mop up in terms of their failures today. All right, folks, that is the video for this morning. We hope you are having a wonderful, happy Halloween and that you stay safe. If you celebrate the day, go out there and have a good time. If you don't celebrate it, we hope you're still having a good time and enjoying the autumn colors out there and all the fun and frivolry of the day. All right, folks, like, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. We cover your comments. We care about what you think. We love to read your thoughts. They matter. Your mind is the most amazing thing in the world, so use it. Seriously. Consider this for a moment. You might be thinking about all those stars up in the sky from this Wish movie, and those stars are huge. They're massive. You could string the earth around a star 100 times over like an earth pearl necklace, and yet that star has never had a single thought. It doesn't have a bit of consciousness in it. You do. You're special. You're amazing. There's a bunch of us, but that does not exclude the fact that consciousness is incredible and you are a conscious creature. So get out there and share your thoughts and make the world better. We'd love it all the more if you do. We will applaud your successes. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
This Halloween's definitely gonna be something.
Even after dead franchises like Marvel are like zombies, rotting corpses of their former glory. Dead, but still animated.
I wonder, are there any franchises with some afterlife qualities?
One Piece is almost vampiric, as it's sucking the life out of the competition. Yeah.
DC is kind of like Frankenstein's monster, with bits and pieces from everywhere and nothing is consistent.
I'm the ghost of Star Wars.
You know what would be a real treat this Halloween? Checking out WDW Pro. He's got all the sweet news on his Thursday live show at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Not to mention, his daily videos are a real treat.
Guys, I'm the ghost of Star Wars. Get it?
You know, we should go and make sure we're subscribed.
Guys, I'm the ghost of Star Wars.
And while we're at it, we'll ring that bell to make sure we're notified.
Great, let's go. Because, well, we actually care about that. Let's go.
Fact. Star Wars is not dead. It's haunting the staffs of Disney Plus.